And tonight for the hour, we will be examining the hottest movie in the country and how some Hollywood liberals are trying to take down a hero. A Hannity special, American Sniper Patriotism Under Fire, is next.
I got a military-age male on a cell phone watching the convoy over.
If you think he's reporting troop movement, you have a green light. Your call, over.
It is the blockbuster movie that everybody's talking about.
American Sniper was amazing, phenomenal.
I don't usually watch movies like that, but I loved it. It was really good. And the ending was perfect.
The Oscar-nominated film has pulled in over $105 million in just its first week.
American Sniper shattering box office records.
But some Hollywood liberals are hell-bent on disrespecting the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history.
I can't believe Michael did that.
We stood behind you, Seth, when you did your movie. Give them the same respect.
Yeah. Michael Moore, he needs to get a life.
All these guys, they know your name. They feel invincible with you up there. They're not.
Tonight, you'll hear from Chris, Kyle's father, widow, and their emotional interviews you'll only see here on Hannity.
He volunteered. He wanted to do this, and I knew he was doing something that he loved to do.
Chris was really good about, little bit by little bit, telling me more and more about his service and what he did.
I'm ready.
Baby!
I'm ready to come home.
A Hannity special, American Sniper, Patriotism Under Attack. It starts right here, right now.
Now, the numbers prove it. Audiences in America, they love American Sniper, but reaction from members of the media, well, that's mixed.
I was disturbed by the movie. I sat there in the movie theater with my wife over the weekend and thought, this just underscores how many lives we have ruined because of doing something that was terribly wrong.
We stood behind you, Seth, when you did your movie, and we said you had the right to make the movie you wanted to make.
Yeah.
Give them the same respect. If you've never been to war, it's a lot that you can call people names. You can call all kinds of names. But until the bombs are exploding around you and the people are dying around you, you need to be a little more sensitive, dudes. I get that you're creative types, but so are they. So back up.
What I saw on that screen was a film that tore my guts apart because of the way it depicted the Iraqi people.
A lot of good guys and a lot of my friends died for his right to, I guess, freedom of speech.
For somebody who has spent their entire career on freedom of speech and freedom of expression, to be criticizing an individual like Chris Kyle, who exemplifies the very best, well, it's like that's really biting the hand that feeds you.
It was a movie about an American SEAL who risked his life overseas 4 times.
Here now with reaction of 2 of Chris Kyle's friends, retired U.S. Army Ranger Sean Parnell and retired U.S. Navy SEAL Jason Redmond. Guys, good to see you. Jason, from what I heard, you have come under fire for defending Chris, defending the movie, and defending how, the job that snipers do. What happened?
Well, Sean, absolutely. And I mean, anytime you take a stance on anything controversial, you're always going to have people that come after you, which is fine with me. I actually find it pretty humorous with some of the statements that people make. Everything from, I was getting texts, what would Jesus do? Thou shalt not kill, to my personal favorite, the atheist that wrote on there, to all Muslims, it's the Christians you want, not us, I'm an atheist. Things like that are they're almost entertaining. Because the reality is, I fought for freedom, Chris fought for freedom, Sean fought for freedom. Every American veteran out there fought for the freedom for people to say whatever they want to say. But here's the deal. It's not freedom from opinion, and it's not freedom from people who are going to stand up and disagree with what you said. Both Michael Moore and Seth Rogen made inflammatory comments that disrespected the service of a great American, a great sniper, a great father, everything that Chris ever did, and in turn, it directly reflected upon the American military. And that's why I'm so adamant about stepping up and saying, hey, you can say what you want, but I'm going to be there to counteract it.
No, I think it's important because you also knew Chris, and Sean, you knew Chris. The first thing that comes to my mind is they're ignorant, they're unappreciative. What you guys give them the right to say whatever they want. Freedom's defended by guys like Chris and guys like you guys. I think I'd be angrier if I did 4 tours like Chris did. Sean?
Yeah, no, look, there's a bright side to this coin, and that's the fact that, American Sniper in the first 4 days, $105 million at the box office. So, you know, Seth Rogen, Michael Moore, Rolling Stone, America doesn't give a damn about what you think. And most of the time, you know, these people miss the mark with their criticisms of the movie. You know, American Sniper is not a political commentary on the Iraq War. American Sniper is not an exploratory view of weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. It is not an exploration or an in-depth study of the atrocities that Americans committed. It is an introspective look at the effects of war on an American hero and on the warrior and on their family. American Sniper is not a pro-war film, it's a pro-warrior film. And every time the journalists or some of these coddled Hollywood types come out and criticize the film or criticize Chris or the warrior's journey home, it just makes it more difficult for guys that have served in combat to actually come home and live a normal life, because it makes it more difficult for them to talk about their experience without being criticized for it. And, you know, look, here's the bottom line. 0.4% of this nation has served this country during 13 years of war. The gap between warrior and citizen in this country has never been greater. And so every time that these Hollywood liberals or journalists make comments that criticize our warriors on the battlefield, it makes that gap even further apart, and it becomes very hard to reconcile here when you come home.
Yeah, I think I'd be pretty angry as a warrior that put my life on the line for as long as he did, or as long as you guys did, only to get this treatment when you get back. Now, you were both friends with Chris. I ask you, Jace, did he ever talk about these experiences? I mean, is this what he described to you, that he, the decisions that he had to make?
You know, I think all warriors sit around and talk about things that happen on the battlefield. I mean, I don't think I ever sat around with the guys and said, well, I wish we had done this or I wish we had done that. You know, many times you'll second guess how an operation unfolds. But, you know, we follow the law of armed conflict. We follow the rules of the Geneva Convention. You know, the American military follows the most strict guidelines related to war to probably almost any nation out there. So when we go in and we do something, we do it to the utmost of our ability. Yeah. Chris did that so that we could make sure we were making the right decisions on the battlefield and come home and say, hey, I did what was right to take care of my men and preserve the freedom of the American people.
Yeah, and then Michael Moore, we were taught that snipers were cowards. Oh, but I didn't specifically mention American Sniper, but yet he does it on the day that it's released. So it's, you know, in that sense, he's a coward, because he thinks he's being cute by saying, oh, I didn't really mean it about that, as he tries to back off the controversy because he's getting slammed. Sean, reaction?
Well, yeah, I mean, the key part of Michael Moore's tweet was that he said, he mentioned invaders, and that is a direct slight at the 9/11 generation who raised their right hand to serve something greater than themselves during a time of war. And these people are the best of us. And so whenever they're criticized, and as Jay said, we defended their right to say whatever it is that they want. But, we're sick and tired of some of these Hollywood elites and people that have big, powerful platforms not being accountable for their words. And we're also sick and tired of them sort of shaping the way that our society and our culture views veterans. So that's why it's important for Jay and other military veterans to speak out so that we have our voice heard, so that doesn't happen. I'm always reminded of a Hemingway quote. It's, critics are somebody that watches the battle unfold from the high ground and then come down and shoot the survivors. And that sounds a lot like what's happening right now.
All right, guys, you did fantastic. Appreciate it. And interesting that Michael Moore doesn't come on TV and go head-to-head with one of you guys and defend those comments. I'd like to see that debate.
And
he's welcome here anytime if he wants to debate either one or both of you. So.
You know, right. Sean, anybody that knew Chris knew that he was somebody that when he was out and about, he loved to practice his choke-out skills. So all the people that know Chris are going to laugh at this. So I guarantee you, if Chris was still walking around today and he was with Michael Moore, he would be glad to put Michael Moore to sleep.
It would probably take him about 9 seconds. Wouldn't take that long. If he could get his arm around his neck. All right. Guys, appreciate it. Thanks for being with us. Coming up next.